Lu Feng knelt in front of me and cried, "Wife, the company went bankrupt. It's in debt of several hundred million." He was afraid that I wouldn't believe it. He stuffed a stack of papers in my hand. I looked at it dizzily. On the top was the bankruptcy recognition document of the court. The bright red official seal was particularly eye-catching. Turning down was the bankruptcy liquidation application. The company's settlement list, the company's balance sheet, and the loan contract were a thick stack. My mind went blank. Lu Feng continued to say, "Wife, in order not to implicate you, let's get a divorce." After that, he handed me a divorce agreement. The two characters written in a dragon-flying gone phoenix dancing style in the lower right corner were his name. I signed my name with trembling hands. Lu Feng hugged me and said, "Wife, this house will be auctioned soon. I have nothing left." I looked at the house I had lived in for 10 years. House. My eyes were sore. I tried to hold back my tears and asked what to do with my son. Lu Feng wiped his tears and said, "It's hard for us. But it can't be hard for my son. I'm going to use the last bit of money in my account to send my son to study abroad." I nodded. I thought Lu Feng was really thoughtful. After the divorce certificate came, Lu Feng was busy with the company liquidation and his son's study abroad. I held my bank card, looking at the lottery station across the street. I decided to take a big gamble. I used the last 5,000 yuan to go all out. Buy all the lottery tickets. Luckily, I won the gamble. I won 2 billion. I jumped up with joy. I couldn't wait to share this great news with Lu Feng. I called his number, but it was turned off. It was then that I remembered. It seems that today it was the day he sent his son to study abroad. We should be on the plane now. I want to use this unexpected money to help Lu Feng pay off his debts. Then our family of 3 can be together again. I thought of my senior who I had a good relationship with in college. He is a partner of one of the best accounting firms in China. He is an expert in company bankruptcy liquidation. I want to consult him whether using this money to pay off debts is the best solution. He said he was on vacation abroad. The situation was urgent. I decided to fly abroad and meet him in person. After getting off the plane, I went straight to the famous resort hotel. When I was wearing sunglasses and looking around for my senior, I unexpectedly saw Lu Feng. He was wearing big shorts and holding a camera to take pictures. Following his gaze, I looked over. I saw a woman in a pink bikini hugging a boy. They were posing in front of the camera. The boy was none other than my son Lu Zijian. I felt dizzy. I suspected that I was blinded by the sun. I took out my phone and called Lu Feng. He was holding the camera under his armpit from a distance. He took out his phone from his trouser pocket. He frowned and looked at it. He hung up and put the phone back into his trouser pocket. At the same time, the phone in my hand stopped dialing. I continued to call. This time he answered. He took the phone and walked to a place with fewer people. He covered the receiver with his hand. "What's the matter?" His tone was impatient. "Nothing. I want to ask you. Have you arrived in the United States? Have you arranged your son's school?" "Everything is arranged. I'm taking a break." After 3 seconds of silence, Lu Feng spoke. "Nothing to do. I'll hang up first. I'll wait for you to come back. I have a surprise for you." Lu Feng hummed nonchalantly and then hung up the phone. I stared at the happy family of 3 in the distance. I clenched my fists. My nails dug into my flesh. I didn't feel any pain. A sneer slowly rose at the corner of my mouth. I took out my phone and took a few satisfactory photos and videos. After meeting the senior, my first sentence was, "Senior, I remember that the company you served before had a fake bankruptcy. It was finally discovered, right?" A trace of doubt appeared on the senior's handsome face. I didn't wait for him to speak and continued, "I have a document here. Please help me take a look." He only took a glance at the senior and found the question. Title: How can a building materials company with only 30 people suffer such a serious loss? This data is not normal. The senior looked at the information carefully. He also said that this emerging industry has the most frequent business dealings with Lu Feng's company. I just searched it on Chicha. This company was established half a year ago. He glanced at me. I understood what he meant immediately. You mean to build a shell company? The senior raised his eyebrows and smiled, nodding. Zhou Yu. What happened between you and Lu Feng? The senior asked worriedly. Lu Feng and I were college classmates. From school uniforms to wedding dresses. We were once campus lovers, envied by many people. It's only been more than 10 years, everything has changed. Not only did he cheat on me and made me leave the house, that my son, who I have raised for more than 10 years, is also an ungrateful person. Help his father cheated me together. It was so chilling. I took a deep breath and pretended to be relaxed. Senior, I want to fight a tough battle. Do you have any reliable lawyers to recommend? You name the price. Where did you make your fortune? Such a big mouth. I stretched out a finger and shook it in front of the senior. Although the senior was puzzled, he still took out his mobile phone to help me find someone. I flew back to the country that day and met with the lawyer to discuss countermeasures. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I tossed and turned and stared at the photos taken at the beach. Everyone who betrayed his family should die. Hatred burned in my heart. I thought of the beautiful face and young body of that woman. I opened the social network and wanted to find the social account of that woman in the form of image search. There is a characteristic of young people nowadays. It's love to show off life. Show off affection. Everything is as expected. I found an account called Feng Jiao De Wang. Posted an update an hour ago. She was wearing a swimsuit and posing in various poses on the beach in the 9 Square GR. ID photos. Although the people in 2 group photos were blurred, I still recognized that they were Lu Feng and Lu Zijian. I saved the photos to my phone. Continue to scroll down. This woman didn't disappoint me. Sure enough, Lu Feng hooked up with him a year ago. I saved all the evidence one by one. A revenge plan was also brewing in my mind. When Lu Feng came back with his son and lover, I had already moved upstairs to his house. I stood at the door with a bag of moldy fruit. The 3 of them were originally talking and laughing, but they froze when they saw me. Mom. You. Why are you here? I looked at him with a fake smile. I asked back, Mom, I wanted to ask you something. Why are you here? My son is young after all. I turned around and looked at his good father. His face was full of sorrow. His tone was sincere. Zhou Yu, I'm sorry I lied to you. Actually, I didn't arrange a foreign school for Xiaojian. I ran out of money a long time ago. I didn't want to make you worry, so I resorted to this desperate measure. I sneered. Looking at the woman next to me in a belly-bearing miniskirt, I asked, who is this person? Oh. This is the buyer I told you about. I sold the house to him. I brought him here to transfer the ownership today. I laughed out loud. Lu Feng, you lied to me about the divorce because of this woman, right? In order to divorce me, it's really painstaking. After saying this, Lu Feng's face changed. He still wanted to quibble. I threw the photo in front of them, then I opened the video. A delicate voice came from the video, calling husband intimately. The woman stopped pretending, walked to me arrogantly, raised her chin, Zhou Yu. You are out, your husband and this big flat are all mine now. That I slapped him directly. Thin red marks immediately appeared on his fair face. Ah, the woman screamed, pounced on me, you dare to hit me. But before he got close to me, he was pulled by Lu Feng. We are even with Zhou Yu's slap, you can go. Oh. By the way. This is for you. I handed over the bag of fruit. I continued to say that we were going to renovate our house recently. It might disturb you. We are all neighbors. We should live in peace in the future. A few people stared at each other. They didn't understand what I meant. I turned and walked towards the elevator. When I passed by Lu Zijian, I stopped and asked him, I am willing to give you a chance. Will you leave? He shrank back and shook his head gently. Very good. At 8 o'clock the next morning, the decoration company I had made an appointment with came. I asked the master to turn on the electric drill directly. He was smashing the wall and drilling holes. The master was very enthusiastic. In order to meet the deadline, he turned on 3 electric drills at the same time. I felt the roof was shaking. I went out happily. I was doing a SPA when I received Lu Feng's call. In the quiet club, Lu Feng yelled at Zhou Yu. It turned out to be you. What the hell are you doing? Lu Feng. I remind you. You are yelling. I will sue you for harassment. Can you let the decoration workers leave first? It's so early in the morning. We can't sleep. You can't. Even if you hate me, you shouldn't be so immoral. Lu Feng, I remind you again. My decoration is reasonable and legal. If you have any questions, you can go to the property management and the police. Lu Feng was stunned. Suddenly, he said, did you really buy the house? So what? Where did you get the money? It's none of your business. The matter is over. I hung up the phone. I closed my eyes and continued to enjoy the stretch of my body. After a while, my phone rang again. A strange voice said, Miss Zhou Yu, we are the police. Someone has reported you for disturbing the public. Please come back. When I rushed home, a group of people gathered at the door. There were 2 uniformed policemen in the middle. When they saw me coming back, the people around me accused me of being too noisy so early in the morning. I was about to have a heart attack again. Even a good weekend was ruined by my good mood. We are all workers. It's rare to sleep in on the weekend. You woke me up with an electric drill. Lu Feng and his lover were in the crowd with their arms around their chests, looking at me proudly. Comrade police. My renovation is legal and reasonable. The housing authority has filed a record. The property management has also informed us. Then you should be careful too. She is pregnant. I am really sorry for disturbing any nay. Bore. I apologize to her in person. Comrade police pointed at Lu Feng and his lover. The moment I saw them, my tears came down. Comrade police. If it was them, then I can't apologize. After hearing what I said, people around us knew that there was something going on between us when they saw Lu Feng and his lover. They all stretched their necks to look. You know them. More than that. The man is my ex-husband. The woman is his mistress. We just divorced 1 month later. He couldn't wait to bring this woman home and kicked me out. I was crying. Most of the people standing around were women. They pointed at the 2 of them. I suddenly stood on the moral high ground. The woman heard others scolding him and jumped out to scold me. Who can you blame for not being able to keep your husband? Don't you see that you are old and ugly? You have a strong desire for control. Which man can stand you? You interrogate me every day. Just like interrogating a prisoner. I lowered my head and sobbed. My shoulders shook violently. I saw that the woman's finger was about to poke my nose. I turned around and hid behind the police. The police comrade couldn't stand it anymore. Come out, maintain order. Okay. Okay, it's your family's business. Don't occupy public resources. Go back and handle it yourself. Comrade, you are in the wrong first. Just keep quiet. I snickered and saw that his face looked like he had eaten a fly. It was ugly. The next day, the renovation continued. Early in the morning, Lu Feng took his mistress and son out to stay in a hotel. I watched them drive away with their suitcases. Then I took out my phone and called Lawyer Wang. How did that matter go, after hearing the accurate answer? I smiled happily. Lu Feng, we will meet soon. 2 days later, Lu Feng called me angrily, Zhou Yu. How dare you sue me? Remember to be on time. I don't like others to be late. You know. Zhou Yu, you bitch. Lu Feng gritted his teeth and said. I hung up the phone directly. This is just the beginning. A week later, Lu Feng came to court as scheduled. As soon as he saw me, he glared at me viciously. The woman next to him was called Lin Jiaojiao. This lover pooh-poohed me, Your Honor. My husband Lu Feng cheated on Lin Jiaojiao during the continuation of our marriage. Transfers totaled 200,000. Purchase luxury goods, bags, jewelry, clothing, etc. totaled 500,000. And before I finished speaking, Lin Jiaojiao couldn't wait to prove herself, Your Honor. This woman lied. Lu Feng and I are legally married. The judge glanced at Lin Jiaojiao unhappily and said, Please listen to the plaintiff first. You will have a chance to speak later. Lin Jiaojiao glanced at me angrily. Shut up. For the past 10 years, as a housewife, I have sacrificed my career for my family but have not received the recognition of my due value. Lu Feng deceived me into signing a divorce agreement on the grounds that the company was bankrupt and made me leave the house with nothing. I want to seek compensation from the defendant for my mental damages and financial compensation as a housewife. I also ask the defendant Lin Jiaojiao to return my common property totaling 898,000 yuan. The judge glanced at Lin Jiaojiao at this time and asked the defendant if he had anything to say. Yes, yes. Lin Jiaojiao said eagerly with a smug look on her face that the money was paid by Lu Feng for purchasing goods. The remarks were written. I looked at him and shook my head. I asked him in return, if you say so, then so. Where is the purchase contract? Where is the invoice? Why is it not a public account payment? It was transferred to you privately. Lin Jiaojiao was speechless by my question. She looked at Lu Feng for help. Lu Feng slowly uttered 2 words, shut up, under the contemptuous eyes of everyone. Ha 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 ha, I laughed wildly in my heart. This man really didn't know that he was about to die. The judge also looked at him very speechlessly. Then he said to the defendant, if you don't have evidence to prove it, then it is a free gift. Any transfer during the marriage period. The other party has the right to recover it. Lin Jiaojiao was dumbfounded. I spent it all. She cried and said that it was your problem. Now I am your creditor. You have 3 days to pay back the money. Thanks to those 2 idiots, this lawsuit was a sure thing. I walked out of the court with a proud look. Lin Jiaojiao followed me, looking unconvinced. Said to me, Zhou Yu. Don't be so proud. It's just over 800,000. Even if you want 1 million, I'm not afraid. Humph. You definitely don't know. As if realizing that he spoke too quickly, he stopped talking. looking at me with a proud face. Contempt in his eyes. Lu Feng came up. Tugged him away. Fearing that I knew some secret. Hey! Stop! I walked in front of them. Spit at Lin Jiaojiao. When Lin Jiaojiao was so angry that she jumped up and down. I opened the car door on the side. Get in. After my house was renovated. Lu Feng downstairs also hired a decoration company. At 8 o'clock in the morning. I was awakened from my sleep by the electric drill on time. Going downstairs. Lu Feng took Lin Jiaojiao's hand. Looking at my husband with a proud face. We redesigned the house. The previous decoration was so old-fashioned. I don't know who has such a bad taste. Lin Jiaojiao's mouth was facing Lu Feng, but her eyes were looking at me. I just thought he farted. Decoration costs a lot of money. Didn't your company just go bankrupt? I asked with concern. Lu Feng's face changed. Then he became fierce. What does it have to do with you? I smiled and replied, It's really none of my business. I took 2 photos of the house under decoration. Then I took the elevator downstairs. I found a secluded place and started calling people one by one according to the list. It took 2 hours. My phone ran out of battery. I finally finished making those 16 calls. The next morning, I finally stopped hearing the noise like a demonic sound. Instead, I heard fierce quarrels. I went. When I got downstairs, the door was surrounded by people in 3 layers. I could faintly hear someone inside yelling, "Boss Lu, you have money to renovate the house. But no money to pay wages. Let's all fight together. Unscrupulous boss, withholding our hard-earned money. We will fight you too." Soon, there was the sound of things being smashed and women screaming. I hugged my chest and watched the fun with everyone. After a while, I don't know who shouted, "The police are coming." I saw 2 uniformed policemen coming out of the elevator. Soon, the police took Lu Feng out. When I saw Lu Feng, I chuckled. He was wearing pajamas and shorts. There was a big red and swollen spot on his forehead. He looked embarrassed. He heard the laughter and turned around to see that it was me. He said viciously, "It's you again, Zhou Yu, you fucking. Is it a person?" The 2 policemen turned to look at me. I hurriedly said that I was a law-abiding citizen. I recognized him. He was the policeman who came to deal with Lu Feng's noise complaint last time. Behind Lu Feng were dozens of men and women with aggressive looks. They were wearing the same white t-shirts. There were a few big red words Lu Feng printed in the middle of the t-shirts. I knew the man who was walking in front to pay back the money. His name was Lao Zhao, an old employee of Lu Feng's company. He followed us at the beginning of the business. Yes. It was us. In the early days of Lu Feng's business. I took out all my savings to support him. He gave me 20 of the shares. But later, when the company got on the right track, he returned my investment to me and asked me to transfer the shares to him. So he was the company's largest shareholder. And I was right, I also became a housewife. I once read a sentence on the internet, saying that a couple can share hardships, but not happiness. This is true. Lu Feng was sued for wage arrears. It seems that he used that trick to deceive many people, including me. 24 hours later. Lu Feng came back with a depressed look on his face. He did not go home, but came to my house and started to smash the door. My door is a top-grade stainless steel anti-theft door. Let him smash it if he wants. I had already arrived at a 5-star hotel a few kilometers away. Of course, I would not wait for him at home. I watched Lu Feng going crazy on the surveillance camera while enjoying a buffet with an average of 1,000 yuan per person. It was so comfortable. When he was almost done making trouble, I called the property management and said that someone was maliciously damaging my private property, asked them to take care of it. 3 minutes later, Lu Feng was asked to leave by the property management. After a while, my phone rang that I turned it off when I saw the incoming call reminder that I couldn't let people who made me feel disgusted affect my meal. After finishing my meal, I turned it on that I found a number in the address book and called it. Hello, Mr. Cheng. Do you still remember me? Yes, it's me, you. Have a good memory. It's like this that I want to tell you something. Yes. You know it too. Isn't that what he said? I have something here that I asked a friend at an accounting firm to look at it. I think you might need it. I'll send it to you now. I looked at the data in the photo and zoomed in to take a look, then I sent it to Mr. Cheng. After doing all this, I signed up for a tour group to travel abroad. After a week, when I returned home, I actually saw my son, whom I hadn't seen for a long time. He had lost weight. Looked at me timidly. Mom. Don't call me that. I can't afford it. Mom and Dad sold the house. I'm homeless. Can I come back to you? My son begged. I couldn't help but laugh at myself. My son had never been so careful in front of me. He always said that I was too strong and too strict with him and left him no freedom. He had always been cold and indifferent to me and had never been cautious. I didn't say anything. He continued to say, Mom, no matter what happened between you and Dad, I was born by you after all. Yes, I am now. I regret giving birth to you. I might as well give birth to a piece of barbecued pork. Lu Zijian's face turned ugly. He choked and said, Mom, do you want to break up with me? I do. But the law does not allow it. Mom, Lin Jiaojiao is your mother. He doesn't care about you. He won't force you. You have more topics to talk about. Go find him. My son cried. My heart ached. Lu Feng sold the house. He made up for the employees' unpaid wages and compensation. But the matter is far from over. Mr. Cheng's actions were faster than I expected. He is one of Lu Feng's suppliers. We have cooperated for more than 10 years. I revealed the flaws in Lu Feng's bankruptcy application to him. He is also an old man. Of course. He saw through it at a glance. He told me that Lu Feng still owed him dozens of 10,000 yuan. He kept delaying the payment by claiming bankruptcy. He asked me if I had a list of other suppliers. I generously sent it to him. Then they sued Lu Feng as creditors. The charge was that the company was falsely bankrupt. They wanted Lu Feng to vomit out everything he had eaten. I was looking forward to seeing Lu Feng lose the case and go crazy in court. On the day of the trial, I wore delicate makeup, a big-name professional suit, and high heels. Since I no longer have to take care of my son and my husband at home, I have more time doing beauty SPAs. I have beauty sleep. My skin has become more delicate and fair. I also signed up for a body management course. I lost 10 pounds in a month. Now I can be said to be a complete transformation has taken place. Lu Feng's eyes have never left my sight since I entered the room. Until Lin Jiaojiao pinched him hard. We sued Lu Feng for false bankruptcy, forgery of official seals, fabrication of debts and concealment of property, which seriously damaged the interests of creditors and others. Please ask the judge to investigate. Lu Feng has not yet made a statement. Lin Jiaojiao excitedly waved a piece of paper in her hand. Your Honor, we are really bankrupt. The judge on the bench knocked the gavel loudly. Lin Jiaojiao pretended not to hear and yelled in the quiet and solemn courtroom. Finally, the judge sternly warned him that if he was making noise, he would be expelled from the court. Only then did he behave himself. I looked at him like a fool. This woman only has a face but no brains. At this time. The lawyer beside Lu Feng said slowly, "Judge, this is the bankruptcy application of my client's company." The lawyer handed over the documents respectfully. The judge looked down at the plaintiff. "What evidence do you have to prove your statement?" Hearing this, Mr. Cheng's lawyer also stood up immediately. "Judge, this is the financial statement provided by the defendant company to the bank. There are many doubts on it. We have sorted it out. Please take a look." The judge read it and nodded and asked the defendant, "Do you have any explanation?" Lu Feng handed over a thick stack of invoices. Soon the judge asked a question. "Are the recipients of these invoices all emerging industries?" Lu Feng answered yes. When I heard this name, my heart was alarmed. The head said a few words to the lawyer. "This company was established half a year ago. The defendant company has been in business for 15 years. A company that was established only half a year has a lot of business dealings with a company that has been in business for 15 years. Judge, can the defendant explain the reason?" Lawyer Wang said slowly. "I saw that Lu Feng's face was very bad." Lu Feng hadn't spoken yet. Lin Jiaojiao couldn't sit still. She said loudly, "We like it. You don't care." I rolled my eyes. The next second, Lu Feng covered his mouth and glared at him. The judge warned Lin Jiaojiao for the second time. Lin Jiaojiao pouted and looked very aggrieved. Then our side provided new evidence. Lu Feng set up a private account abroad half a year ago. Every half a month, a 5-digit amount of funds was transferred to this account. If Lu Feng's business was operating at a loss, where did the money come from? The judge flipped through the documents and asked the defendant, "Do you have anything to say?" Lu Feng suddenly had an idea and replied that this was the money for my son's study abroad. If it was money for his children's study abroad, why did they use the public account? And they also issued false invoices and included it in the company's balance sheet. How to explain this? Lu Feng was speechless after being asked a series of questions. He anxiously glanced at the lawyer beside him. The lawyer was sweating profusely and was at a loss. We glanced at Lu Feng and threw the last bomb. A month ago, the defendant resold the company's assets at a low price. The buyer is Xinchai. The legal representative is Zhao Ming. Your Honor. After our visit, we found that Zhao Ming and the defendant's current wife have an unusual relationship. After that, the lawyer handed over a stack of photocopied photos and materials. Lu Feng looked at Lin Jiaojiao in disbelief and asked, "Isn't he your cousin?" After saying this, even the judge was shocked. There was no suspense in winning this lawsuit. The judge sentenced the defendant Lu Feng on the spot for the crime of false bankruptcy, which seriously damaged the rights and interests of creditors. He was sentenced to 2 years and 6 months in prison, suspended for 1 year, and fined 200,000 renminbi. Outside the court, Mr. Cheng shook hands with me cordially. Lu Feng rushed over and knelt down in front of Mr. Cheng with a plop. "Former Mr. Cheng, can you give me another chance?" Mr. Cheng looked at him with disdain. He snorted coldly. He turned and walked away. Lu Feng turned to me and cursed, "Show you. You bitch. You will die a miserable death. You vicious woman. My money will belong to your son in the future. You are happy to see me in jail." I raised my lips and said, "Yes. I am very happy to see you in jail. I am so happy to death. All the funds in Lu Feng's accounts have been frozen. The money he wanted to transfer. Now he can't get a penny back. Lu Feng looked ashen. He turned around and suddenly found that Lin Jiaojiao had disappeared without a trace. Have you seen Jiaojiao? He asked the lawyer. The lawyer shook his head. Then Lu Feng took out his mobile phone and made a call. Even I called a few more times. I guess the phone was off. He got irritable and kicked the ground hard. Hey! I'll give you a hint. I turned on my phone and showed him a video. He looked extremely angry. He started to curse Lin Jiaojiao. Then he ran quickly towards the car and drove away. He was incredibly fast. I looked at the video. It was a clip of Lin Jiaojiao having an affair with a man. As for the man, Lu Feng certainly knew him. He was his cousin Zhao Ming. I knew Lu Feng was going to die. I felt a sense of pleasure in my heart. Today was really a good day for a big meal. I made an appointment with my senior and told him the result of the trial. He sighed that Lu Feng was a very capable person. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come this far from scratch. God, but men, once they have money, they turn bad and their hearts become dirty. When I was investigating the new industrial company, I noticed something was wrong with Zhao Ming. A high school graduate, a gangster, could actually be a legal person. Who gave him the courage? It was Lin Jiaojiao. He and Lin Jiaojiao were childhood sweethearts. They grew up naked. The two of them caught the big fish Lu Feng. They had to pull it hard. When Lu Feng proposed to transfer the company's property through bankruptcy and needed to open another company, Lin Jiaojiao immediately thought of her cousin Zhao Ming. Zhao Ming had been in society for many years and was smooth in his work. Lu Feng didn't find any flaws. I first found out that there was something fishy between the two on Lin Jiaojiao's social account. As expected, women are very good at men and women. His intuition was extremely accurate. How would Lu Feng, who was betrayed, be angry and humiliated? How would he retaliate against Lin Jiaojiao? I waited and saw. Not long after, I received a call from the police. It turned out that Lu Feng had jumped off the building. He was not dead and was being treated in the hospital. Since he was in this city, and there were no other close relatives, he could only call me, his ex-wife. Did Lu Feng know Zhou Yu? I nodded. The answer was that I was his ex-husband. Then do you know Lin Jiaojiao and Zhao Ming? Lin Jiaojiao knows them. They are my ex-husband's current girlfriend. Well, there is something I need to know from you. Please come to the hospital. Okay. When I arrived at the hospital, I realized that the person who called me was actually a policeman. We received a call from 110 saying that someone fight. When we arrived, Lu Feng and Zhao Ming just jumped down from the building together. Lin Jiaojiao was lying unconscious on the side. Lin Jiaojiao had just woken up. The doctor performed surgery on her. She had just finished taking notes. What happened to her? What happened? I asked him if he had a miscarriage. After waking up, he said that Lu Feng beat him and caused the miscarriage. What about Lu Feng? Lu Feng is now in the ICU. The doctor said he is likely to be paralyzed from the waist down. Mr. Policeman. What do you want to know? I will tell you everything I know. Then the police asked me a lot of questions. Ask me if I know the relationship between Lu Feng, Lin Jiaojiao and Zhao Ming. And asked me why they had a dispute. When I finished taking notes and left the hospital, it was already 2 a.m. The lights were still on in the hospital bright. An ambulance roared in the distance. A doctor from the emergency room passed by me quickly. I hurriedly stepped aside. Watching this scene, my mood suddenly became heavy. I returned home drowsy. I washed up hastily. Fell asleep. The next day I was woken up by the doorbell. The property manager was standing at the door. Lu Zijian was standing next to me. He cried when he saw me. "Mom and Dad. Let him come in." I opened the door and let him in. He was carrying a school bag. After entering the door, he looked around with his eyes wide open. "I had forgotten to cry a long time ago. I already knew about your dad's affairs. It was his own fault." After hearing what I said, my son actually nodded. "Mom, I now know. What you did before everything is for my good or my mother's good. It's too late to understand now." I learned from Lu Zijian that Zhao Ming was dead. After Lu Feng left angrily that day, he came to Xinqing Industrial Company. It was already deserted. After Lu Feng got into a lawsuit, Zhao Ming began to prepare to run away with the money. With Lin Jiaojiao's cooperation, the two of them were well prepared. On the day when the lawsuit was lost, Lin Jiaojiao used the excuse of going to the bathroom and never came back. She went to meet Zhao Ming. The two hid in an abandoned construction site. Unexpectedly, they were found by Lu Feng. After all, they were holding all of Lu Feng's life savings. Lu Feng saw Lin Jiaojiao at a glance and his anger made him lose his mind. He caught Lin Jiaojiao and started beating her until she had a miscarriage. Blood was seen flowing down her legs. Lin Jiaojiao screamed miserably and fainted. Zhao Ming heard the sound and came out. Seeing Lin Jiaojiao's miserable state, he and Lu Feng started fighting. In the end, both of them fell from the building. Zhao Ming died on the spot. Lu Feng was lucky. He happened to fall on the scaffolding when he fell from the building. He was cushioned. He didn't die but became a high-level paraplegic. A week later, I went to the hospital to see Lu Feng. In just 2 months, he seemed to have aged by a dozen years. His eyes were numb and empty. He gritted his teeth when he saw me. His angry expression seemed to be, "Buddha wants to eat me." I looked at Lu Feng, who was lying on the bed with only his head moving. I felt a trace of pity in my heart. "Zhou Yu. You still have the nerve to come. If it weren't for you, I would have ended up like this today." I laughed. "I have never seen a person as shameless as you. It was obviously you who did something wrong, but you put all the responsibility on others." Lu Feng was so angry that he could only stare at me. I laughed and decided to give him another blow. "Do you know that Zhao Ming is dead?" Looking at his surprised expression, I added that Lin Jiaojiao sued you. This made Lu Feng furious. Veins in the corners of his eyes jumped and his eyes were red. Obviously, this name brought back painful memories for him. "That bitch. What right did he have? You beat him and caused him to have a miscarriage. You also killed Zhao Ming." He made a chuckle in his throat. He said with a ferocious expression that I should kill him as well as the couple. "For the sake of our relationship as husband and wife, I will hire a good lawyer for you." After saying that, I turned around and walked out. I heard Lu Feng cursing from behind. Lin Jiaojiao's efforts were in vain. She took Lu Feng to court. In the end, Lu Feng was sentenced to 11 years in prison for violent assault and intentional injury resulting in death. After hearing the verdict, Lu Feng was very angry. He was extremely excited. He said he would appeal. He glared at the judge angrily. He even spat at the judge. He was charged with another crime of disrupting court order. A doctor nearby gave him a sedative. He calmed down. Due to Lu Feng's physical condition, he was not suitable to stay in prison. He applied for temporary release. He returned to the hospital. His range of activities was limited to the ward. This was no different from being in prison. Now his only relative is Lu Zijian. His 16-year-old son has to study while taking care of his paralyzed father. I don't feel sorry for him at all. It was his own choice. When I met Lu Feng again, I came to his ward with the company acquisition contract accompanied by a lawyer. When Lu Feng saw me, he didn't even have the energy to glare at me. After listening to the lawyer's statement, he said with a dead heart that you are satisfied now. I nodded and said it was okay. I also have a share in Lu Feng's company. The old customers who cooperated with me at the beginning also expressed their willingness to continue cooperation. I have been a housewife for 10 years. Now is the time for me to be reborn. From now on, I am no longer Zijian's mother. I have my own name. My name is Zhou Yu. I have my own company. I am my own boss. I helped Lu Feng pay off all the debts owed to creditors and took control of the company. From now on, he will no longer be surnamed Lu, but Zhou. Just as I was about to leave, Lu Feng suddenly said loudly, Zhou Yu, where did you get so much money? You are so scheming. Use my money to buy my company. I smiled faintly and took out the lottery ticket that won me the jackpot and shook it in front of Lu Feng. Lu Feng, don't think everyone is as dirty as you. Do you know that when you took Lin Jiaojiao to travel abroad, I tried to find ways to help you pay off your debts in China. I took the remaining 5,000 yuan to buy a lottery ticket, thank God. I really won the lottery. I wanted to tell you the good news as soon as possible. But I found out that you cheated on me. Do you know how I felt at that time? I said it all in one breath. When I looked at Lu Feng, he was pale and looked incredulous. Of course you know. You have tasted the feeling of being betrayed by the person closest to you. I looked at him proudly and felt very happy in my heart. I also want to thank you for letting me see your true face earlier. Lu Feng on the hospital bed glared at me with his eyes slanted. Ah! I like the way you can't stand me. But can't get rid of me. Not long after, I heard that Lu Zijian dropped out of school. Without my encouragement and because he didn't like studying, his grades plummeted. He finally dropped out of school. His peers were still studying hard. He was already working everywhere. I found him and said I was willing to continue to pay for his tuition and living expenses. But he refused. He started working while taking care of Lu Feng. I chose to respect him. My daily life was busy and fulfilling. I invested all my time and energy in work. After a few months, the company gradually got on the right track. I also began to intentionally train a successor. From then on, the sky was the limit and I could fly freely.